Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Up Next in Commerce. I'm your host, Stephanie Postles, CEO of Mission.org. Today's episode was super interesting. If you think window shopping is a thing of the past, think again. Except this time, the stores come to you and the window is on your phone. Stick around and find out how Ido Segev and the team at Syte are leveraging visual AI to revolutionize the shopping experience. Enjoy. Before we jump into the interview, I want to give a quick shout out to our partners, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, who help make this podcast possible. You can learn more about Salesforce Commerce Cloud by visiting salesforce.com/commerce. All right, let's jump into it. Ido, welcome to the show. I'm really excited to have you on today.
Great to be
Thanks for
here.
hopping on here. So I want to start with your background. So tell me a bit about the Israeli startup scene. Like, do you feel like you have a lot of support there? I mean, I only hear amazing things because I worked with Waze back in the day. So I saw
Oh,
that team grow and they were amazing, and worked with their founder for a little bit. And then I was telling you about Amdocs. And so I feel like I always
I'd
just hear
love
of
to
like,
hear about it more afterwards.
yeah, I mean, I only have love for all my Israeli partners, but I'd love to hear, how is it there? You said it was small and tight knit, and, what's the support look like? Paint the picture for maybe someone who doesn't really know that scene.
Yeah, so the Israeli ecosystem is relatively small, but at the same time, you're seeing so many great startups coming out of relatively small population.
Hmm.
I think that it's for me, it's on the one hand, it's kind of a mystery on like how such a small population can create so many great startups.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if when you grow up here and you're seeing how you're kind of during your life, you're being pushed I feel like be creative, to maybe become more mature very early on during your
Hmm.
life, question many of the things that other people say. You probably know that Israelis can be very straightforward, very
Uh-huh. I love it
um,
about them. It's my favorite
yeah,
part.
and I think that this is the straightforwardness is one of the things that make it so practical, because eventually at the end of
Mhm.
the day, even if the CEO says something, and we all have like a lot of appreciation in every
Mhm.
company in Israel. Um, Even the employee who joined last week
Mhm.
can share his or her opinion, and usually, in most cases, will be heard, and the idea will be looked at, and there's a lot of, I would say, kind of a lot of acceptance for criticism,
Mhm.
and criticism on the now, and not like in the next periodical conversation,
Mhm.
which helps companies in Israel move faster.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a mystery, like you said, of how many great companies are coming out of such a small population. Is it, do you think, like the parenting that's kind of invoking this culture of, no offense culture, be straightforward? Because I've heard about this actually in different pockets. I was listening to a really great interview the other day around the PayPal mafia, and they were talking about early days with Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Max Levchin, and how the whole culture was like, I mean, very straightforward. Like, if you didn't have a good idea, they're like, no, that's not a good idea, and here's why. And there was no offense taken. And how, because of that, they were able to move quickly and not take anything personally. And so hearing about that, I'm like, it sounds kind of similar, but like, what got you there? Was it, the parenting is just, that's just how it is, or trying to figure out like, why is it like that there and not other places?
Yeah, if
Is
I,
maybe
by
my
the
question.
way, so one thing about parenting, and then specifically, by the way, about the company. Yes, like when I'm sitting in management meetings, ideas are being raised, but eventually many of them are just being smashed during the meeting, and people just
Yep.
take it like in a positive way. And I think that
Mhm.
this is the way to really open up the conversation, and it creates creativity when people are
Mhm.
really open to discuss, and get their ideas slashed and then come up with new ideas.
Yep.
um, and I think that if you spoke about parenting, I can give an example that my father, for example, was a businessman throughout his whole life. He was a CFO, CEO, and of course, I saw this kind of um, aspiration to succeed in life at him, like during
Mhm.
my childhood. and I remember one specific instance where he gave me a certain amount of money, and he told me it was in the age of 13, and we sat and invested the money together. And I feel
Mhm.
like it was the first kind of um, experience that I had that was not only just theoretically speaking about stuff, but really sitting and actually doing something together that's about taking a financial initiative.
Mm.
um, if that's something that can be kind of um, said on every household in Israel, I don't know. But honestly, I
Yeah.
feel like when you go out to the street and you meet the people, for some people it might be seen as rudeness, but I see it as a lot of there's a lot of warmth.
Mhm.
And people give sometimes even criticism to people they don't know on the street, which for some people can seem like, wow, this is very awkward. But if you're an Israeli, like these are things that make you, if you're open to it,
Yeah.
to improve, if you're in the right mood, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I love that. I mean, I think we should do more of that in all cultures. I mean, especially if it's just going to make everyone better. Why not? Don't
yeah.
don't be
How is it?
offended.
How is it in Austin, by the way?
Oh, it is. I mean, we definitely don't go around and critique each other on the streets. We don't do that. But I will say, I mean, it's a great culture here and very helpful and warm. That Southern hospitality type of vibe. So highly recommend. I love it here. But I think everyone can learn from the upfrontness that the Israelis have, and so that's why I'm always very interested to hear where did that come from.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Very
think, by
cool.
the way, as someone who studied abroad, that the balance is very important, right? Because
Hmm.
when you deal with different cultures, it's super important to also be able to balance between
Hmm.
your Israeli approach,
Yep.
and who the person you're speaking with is, and what his or her culture is.
Hmm.
Japan, for example, is one of the best options I could give, and you can be an Israeli, but to a certain extent, you need to really understand the other person, where he or she is coming from,
Yep.
and really respect it, I would say, because
Hmm.
otherwise it won't work.
Yeah, yeah. I think in Japan, there's like a very long lead up time of getting to know someone and being cordial and making sure that you both, like you said, like respect each other, and then you can talk business after
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all that is established.
And
Which,
you'll be surprised how when you have strong relationships there, you get to know way quicker.
yep.
And it's great. I love it because then
Hmm.
it creates this again environment of getting the ability to move forward fast.
Hmm.
And it
It's
takes
great.
time. It takes time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes years to get to this level of openness.
You actually previously worked at a company that we had on the show, Yatpo, and then I was going through a little bit more of history, and I'm like, I would love to hear from you, how you are where you are today.
Wow, surprising that you brought up Yotpo. Yotpo is
Uh-huh.
actually, a company that's very close to my heart because I think when I joined the team as a PDM, Partner Development
Hmm.
Manager, it was really the first time. And by the way, I landed on this job pretty much like out of nowhere. I didn't plan it. The person who's today my wife sent me the application. I applied, and then I got to land on the job. And what I was doing is really reaching out to a lot of agencies. I think probably at the end of the year where I was doing this role, probably about thousands, like 10,000 maybe. And I
Hmm.
got to speak with so many interesting people, probably a few hundreds every few weeks, every month, that I really learned about the industry, inside and out. I feel like this role really got me to eventually manage partners myself, manage the team eventually that managed PDMs, account managers for partnerships, and then eventually resellers. And I think Yotpo is doing amazing things in the industry.
Hmm.
We learned a lot about how to build partnerships, and for me, it was also how to create amazing experiences for shoppers with Yotpo.
Yeah. And they're blowing up right now. I've been following them. I mean, for anyone who hasn't listened, go check out that episode. It was really good. But just watching their trajectory right now, I mean, they're blowing up. I'm sure it was really a fun ride kind of being at the
Yeah,
company and watching it go through all the
I
changes.
still keep watching them. Yeah, all
Yeah.
true.
And were you in Tel Aviv when you were working at
Yeah.
Yapo?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was in Tel Aviv, but of course I was also going to the New York office every now and then. And
Hmm.
also we had a team of a few people at a reseller in Japan, and I was going there to
Ooh,
be with my
Japan.
team. Yeah,
I love Japan. It's
Tokyo,
one of my favorite
great city.
spots. Uh-huh. Yeah, we went to a little place called Hakone, which is near Tokyo, maybe like a 2-hour drive, but super cute
Yeah,
area. Lots of
unfortunately, when
natural
you
springs.
go in business trip, wow, it's
Yeah,
like it's
you
only
can't do
Tokyo
that.
because like
I
probably
know.
super focused.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, it's good to get outside the city.
yeah.
Okay, so after Yapo, tell me, where did you jump to next?
So the Israeli scenery is the Israeli startup scenery is very small, and I
Hmm.
started hearing the name Syte over and over again, and eventually, I got to speak with some people who explained to me what the technology does, and
Hmm.
this is really where I understood that there's something bigger than just the name Syte, but really a deep technology that deals with you know a, a lot of patents, a lot of real understanding of what is this product and how I can find similar items. This is where it really started, and from there, and since I joined, I just kept seeing new products coming out to the market that I'd love to tell you all about soon. But the impact that I saw, the potential impact that I saw for Site, to help eventually end shoppers what they love
Hmm.
during their journeys on websites and apps and even in stores, got me really, really interested. And this is actually why I joined the company eventually.
Amazing. Okay, and so for anyone who doesn't know, Site is like a product discovery platform for retail, and it uses visual search to be able to find the products. Is that
Mhm.
a accurate description of how
Very
to
accurate.
explain?
Yeah, very
Okay,
accurate.
and what's your day-to-day role look like?
So I personally, as someone who's managing the partnerships and business development at the company, I have a team of 5 people, and what we do day in day out is to create a lot of relationships with many companies. Some of them you probably know, companies like WPP, Microsoft, AWS from Amazon, companies like Accenture, Deloitte, Wipro. We have about 150 partners, and what we do with them is create very strategic partnerships to eventually give more value to more of their customers, of their clients. And at the same time, we create a lot of marketing activities, and we work together on deeper partnerships that are not about working with clients, like in terms of getting business from each other, but also how to take their work and improve it with site with product discovery in general, because product discovery is very wide.
Mhm.
Product discovery can be visual AI, can be textual search, can be recommendations, can be hyper personalization, and eventually it's a holistic approach that agencies, consultancies, SIs really love working with.
Yeah, so tell me about maybe what the landscape looks like, because when I think about product discovery, I've heard on the show quite a few times that essentially how we discover products is how we started discovering them back when Amazon launched and like how we were scrolling through and looking for books and not much has really changed maybe up until now. But tell me, what does the landscape look like today and where do you think it's headed?
Yeah. So I think what changed really is that many companies really looked at shopping as a linear path, right?
Mhm.
And giving shoppers different pathways is really the key to a healthy and really effective product discovery experience. So when we look at product discovery, we're not just saying, okay, someone saw something cool on the website, he or she is going to buy it, right? We're saying it can end up by, if the person is what we call a goal-oriented shopper, they will go see the product and purchase. However,
Mhm.
if this person, for example, potentially can buy with these pants that they initially thought about buying, can buy maybe a t-shirt that fits this item, or maybe if they're browsers, which are eventually customers, shoppers who are interested in discovering more items and then eventually make a decision. So you need to cater, and this is only the high level, right? There are many
Mhm.
other kind of types of shoppers. The idea with product discovery is to give every type of shopper the right pathway that fits them individually, because
Mhm.
one size doesn't fit all anymore.
Okay, so maybe give me an example or a couple examples of what
Mhm.
does that look like from a shopper experience? 'Cause I'm trying to imagine, how's it different right now? Give me a couple
Yeah.
examples.
So of course, so let's take an example, right? I'm walking down the street and I see something or someone maybe wearing something that I like, and you'll be surprised by how many people are doing that.
Mhm,
Um, what I can do then is if I know that my favorite brand is using a product discovery solution, I can just open my camera, take a picture on their site, and find very accurate results that are highly similar to what this person is wearing. Same
mhm,
thing can go for example, if I go to a friend's place and I see their newly renovated place, right? Let's say living room, I can take a picture of the whole space. Within less than a second, I'll get the breakdown of all of the different items in the space, and I can
mhm,
purchase the look or the room, right? Now, this is only how the discovery experience starts. It can start from social media, TikTok, from Instagram, from
mhm.
Facebook, from wherever. Inspiration today is key for brands
Yeah,
to succeed and to bring traffic to their site. Now, on the website, we're then talking about the discovery experience. How do you really identify who the person is, what type of a shopper he or she is, and then cater for their needs to really reduce frustrations and let them really discover products the way they like individually in a
mhm.
very personalized manner.
Got it. Okay, and do if I have a picture of something, do I have to know who maybe is the provider of it, or can I just take a picture and be like, "I like that couch," and then just upload it to a general database that shows me, like, "This is probably a Pottery Barn or Crate& and Barrel couch, and here's the
Yeah.
exact item," or do I have to go to Crate& and Barrel's website and be like, "I know you're this is it." I have to go to their website. What's
Yeah.
the flow look like there?
So great question. It's actually we do also have a general kind of a solution, but we
Mhm,
don't focus on that because Syte is really a SaaS company and we work specifically with brands, helping them to reach higher engagement rates and better bottom line metrics.
mhm,
And building on that, eventually, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter where the product is coming from and what is the actual, um, serial number of the item, right? It really is visually identifying which similar items can match what you're looking for,
got it. Okay,
right?
so you can take a picture of something that's not, of that
Definitely.
brand, and they will pull a look that pulls similar items that are like, "Well, okay, you like this brown style couch. We have that, and here's the look of it."
Yeah,
That's how to think about it.
exactly. You
Got
can
it.
take whatever item you want, and once you
Mhm,
upload it to, your preferred store, will find, or this or product discovery will find exactly what you're looking for. And this specific feature is called camera search, right? But then
mhm,
afterwards, we're talking about examples. If I then, for example, found something that I really like from this picture, and this is only one journey, I can then click on the item, and then things like, for example, recommendation engines or discovery icon where you click on and it opens up other options that can be
mhm,
also hyper personalized to the specific person and can really give me the option to continue the experience, the purchasing experience, and then eventually I'll land on one, maybe the same item that I want to purchase, but then also increase the basket size because of all of the great recommendations that I got along the way.
mhm. It's interesting because this was kind of done in a manual way back when I used to watch different TV shows, like, I'll say, like, I don't know, Gilmore Girls or whatever it may have been, and, like, people watching being like, "I wanna know what outfit that is." And there used to be these blogs where people would go on there and be like, "Okay, you want that look, but you don't wanna pay $500? Like, here's 10 other skirts from different
Yeah,
brands that look exactly the same." And so it's kind of funny seeing something that I used to see be done in a manual fashion now being done with AI, which is,
yeah,
yeah, very, very cool to see.
exactly. And we're seeing it, by the way, coming to or starting to hear trends of these kind of technologies going to the smart TVs. I
Mhm,
think this trend will just intensify over time
mhm,
as technologies become stronger and as more shoppers are showing interest to also shop from smart TVs.
mhm,
Definitely a trend. I'll be looking to see where it will go. And like you said, today technology, like strong technologies or product discovery technologies, can really identify the styles and really suggest items that are, that go well with this item that's kind of in the hero image in the product page. And this
Mhm.
is something that really helps people make smarter purchasing decisions.
Yeah. Is it the brands who are coming up with, the items that are kind of matching, or what's actually happening behind the scenes to make that recommendation happen?
Yeah, so behind the scenes there we can maybe look at more kind of complete the look. So for
Mhm.
example, if I have a hero image, the main image of a PDP, of a product page, showing a model wearing a dress, a pair of shoes, and maybe bracelets and rings. So what Syte does, what we do is we break down the image into bounding boxes. Bounding boxes are, it's really showing rectangles or rounds. It really depends on the design that the brand chooses. It really separates the items. Now, if you want to complete the look, we'll tell you, okay, here is a carousel of not only the item that you have in the hero image that you looked at, that's like the item that the PDP is selling, but also other items or similar items to these items that are in the hero image that are not the item that's in the PDP. And by doing so, we're able to create a larger variety of items that are not necessarily this item or similar items to this item, to allow for people to really easily add items to their cart that can uh, complement, the item that they're initially thinking buying.
Mhm. I also like it when they show customers, where it's like a customer who bought this couch or whatever also bought these pillows and this and this. And it seems like there could be a cool opportunity to just look at the purchasing behavior of, what are some of the, items that have been bought together, and then showing a
Yeah,
recommendation based off that. Because oftentimes I realize a lot of people are very trendy and they have great, they're very like design first, and I'll just go with whatever they picked out, like whatever matching pillow was with this couch. Have you guys explored recommendations around, what other people have already bought and maybe grouped
yeah.
together?
So super interesting that you're raising this because this is also an assumption that we've made a while back,
Mhm.
and we actually came out with I think it was probably a month and a half ago with a new feature called often bought with, that
Mhm.
really looks
Yeah.
at the whole website and the behaviors of every shopper on the website anonymously, of course, allowing us to really understand which items are being bought with other items. And of course, not only that you can automatically let the system work and choose these items for you, we didn't speak about the merchandising and ranking rules that you can use, because we're saying, by the way, that brands like having some sort of level of control
Mm.
over what items they're showing. So you'll have the option to choose from a bank of often bought with the items that you'd like to show, or the description of the items that you like to show, like for example items that fit for a certain season, bestsellers, maybe items that are using specific deep tags that describe the items, right? That are also, by the
Mm.
way, created by visual AI.
Cool. I love that. Well, I'm glad I brought that up then. I was like, man, this seems like it could be very helpful. What about when it comes to educating the customer coming in? They're looking at a brand's website, and my first thought would be like, how do you even show them that this is an option and get them to actually start using this new technology and uploading images and even interacting in this, I mean, semi new way? I know with Google, you've been able to drop images in there for a little while and see what comes up from it. So they've had that for a while, but I don't think many people actually ever use that because I think the results weren't that great and maybe it just wasn't that helpful. And so I'm thinking like today, if I were to go to a brand's website, how do I come into the funnel in a way where I'm like, oh, I know exactly how to interact with this new piece of technology?
Yeah. So it's interesting you raise it because actually, side of like 3 years ago, we were really focusing on the camera search, right?
Mhm.
Today, our suite of tools is really something that's broader because we look at product discovery as a complete and a holistic approach. Okay, but if we look specifically at the camera search, for example, which is more, I would say, for customers with higher intent,
Yep.
site visitors who are coming and using the camera search are the ones that really have something to upload,
Mhm.
right? And when we look at, for example, like a camera search, I can give you a few examples. Some companies, for example, create a story on Instagram explaining this is the new benefit that you can get by, if you come to the website or the app. Others are adding kind of a pop-up on
Mhm.
their website or their app. The most creative action that I saw was actually of a brand that we're working with in Korea. They literally created a concert to kick off the app.
Mhm.
A few months ahead of this concert, they created a contest where people had to upload their images, their pictures, and eventually they created a very long page of people's
Smart.
images. They
Yep.
chose the winning image in the contest, and then people got credit um, to buy items on the website.
Oh, that's smart. I mean, they were essentially training their users and incentivizing them
Yeah,
to
to
win
buy more.
something.
Yeah.
What did maybe the lifetime value of that customer, if you know, look like afterwards? Because I could see maybe having a big peak of excitement and then it potentially trailing off. Like, how did they keep them engaged and keep them maybe continuing to use this?
Yeah. So the beauty of product discovery, if we look at it not only camera search and how much you're clicking on it and proactively uploading an image, it's really about recommendation engines and discovery icon and the augmented textual search that combines these deep tags that we
Hmm.
can take from every image and find accurate results. It's about the hyper personalization recommendations that really create a kind of an environment that understands the individual customer without really asking them to take any proactive action.
Hmm.
That's the beauty of it. Now, we actually went ahead and we a year ago we asked, okay, what is really the impact on the client lifetime value of a
Hmm.
customer when there's a great customer experience and specifically a great product discovery experience. And actually what we found out was that we saw a 52% uplift in the customer lifetime value, which is crazy. It's mind blowing.
Hmm.
I was actually pretty much impressed by the number.
Yeah.
We actually wrote a white paper about it, so you can find it on our website.
All right. That's awesome. So, when thinking about the future of product discovery, where do you think it's headed? On top of we got the visual search, it's becoming very personalized. Like, what's next? Or maybe what are you guys betting on right now that maybe, it's not here yet and you're not actually using it, but like, where do you think the world's heading?
Yeah. So first of all, people in our view, and also from what we're seeing in the market, speaking with clients, speaking with partners, the world is going towards a place where people will shop more and more with their eyes,
Hmm.
right? And explaining something in text is still very much in use, right? And people
Hmm.
they like searching with text, but as visual AI will go on and become more available to customers, we believe that the notion of like searching and discovering using visual AI capabilities will just
Hmm.
get stronger and stronger. I believe that also the whole omni-channel experience will become much more important because now
Hmm.
we're seeing that companies just keep adding more and more technologies into their website, apps, and also in the store. And I
Hmm.
believe that as we continue to see companies, the competition rising, and brands continue speaking about how and thinking about how they're going to improve the customer experience, it means that they'll continue adding tech. Customers will continue increasing their expectation for a great experience, and I believe that in the next year or two, the in-store experience will one have to be connected to, or this is why it's called omni-channel, not omni-channel, not
Hmm.
multi-channel, connected across device, across channel,
Hmm.
and also the technologies that customers are experiencing on the website or the app will need to be also available in some sort in the store.
Yep.
And Syte is actually a really, I would say, a pioneer in the space of the omnichannel experience and specifically in the store.
That's awesome. Where do you think maybe augmented reality comes into that? Because I'm imagining, going out into the world, having something, whether it be your phone or a headset or something that can kind of help you identify what you're
Hmm.
looking at and where it might be coming from. So where do you see that coming into the mix?
Yeah. So that was my next point actually. I think that when you're looking at AR, VR, the ability to take 3D objects or objects 3D objects and place them in your space.
Hmm.
I think that this is for us at least it's a natural continuation of the discovery experience, right? Because you found what you like. And by the way, you mentioned recognizing an item. Today, it's not a problem. Like we can do it today by even just hovering your camera over a product. We'll be able to tell you here are the three or five or nine most similar products.
Hmm.
But the question is, how can I then take these products and place them on me in the space? And I think that
Yeah.
this will have a really, really large impact on conversion rates because you'll be
Hmm.
able to take the inspirations, take the products you discovered and loved, and then see how they look in your space or on you, like shoes, rings that I'm seeing over and over again. Companies are using these great technologies, and also eventually sofa, for example, if I place it in my living room.
Yeah. It also seems like it would be kind of a fun hunt going out in the world and finding things and, creating this not only brand awareness, but a brand love once you finally figure out, where it's coming from and finding it out in the wild per se. When, you're
Yeah,
out walking the streets and you see something and I can see it kind of creating a different type of customer that, is much more engaged than maybe they have been before because it's like the thrill of finding who's actually the brand behind this
yeah,
shirt
yeah,
or whatever it might
definitely,
be.
definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
gamifying. Ado, the last thing I want to end on is I want to hear the best piece of advice that you think about from time to time again. I'm sure you've, had a lot of good mentors or people that you've been around or people in, your startup scene. Like, is there any piece of advice that you think about as you're growing with this company site right now? And yeah, maybe think about it from day to day.
Yeah. Wow. So that's a big question.
Yep.
I have to say that for me, when I look at my trajectory, one of
Hmm.
the things that I've seen that work, and again, I have to say openly, I don't think that things come easily to me. I work hard to get them. I'm not this person who, got rich after dropping out of school. And I think that determination, persistence, and believing in your higher goal, and understanding that it might take some time, but that along the way there might be some barriers, and some people might say that's not for me, after they meet a big challenge. But I think that actually crossing the challenge and really confronting it, whatever it may be, and
Hmm.
and actually resolving it if it's related to other people, for example, resolving it in a mature way will teach everybody in an individual level on how to solve it better next time. And eventually, I don't know, I'm looking at my relatively short career and I'm seeing that every kind of this experience that I have, whether it was negative or positive, and determination made me understand things that now I look at and I say, okay, I know how to solve them.
Hmm. Yep. And you will continue getting that throughout the rest of your life, I'm sure. So,
I hope so.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, Ido, thank you so much for coming on here. Really cool to hear about what y'all are up to and the Israeli tech scene. So, yeah, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
that. Where can people learn more about you and Site?
Thank you very much. I just want to say one thing that we
Yeah,
didn't speak about.
yeah.
Um, I think that we're saying it over and over again that people are, like we said before, getting inspired everywhere,
Hmm.
and I think that over time it will just intensify over time, and really bringing social into e-commerce will just become more and more important over time. And stay tuned because Site, has a lot of news coming up in this sense. Probably you'll hear about it in the coming month or so. So stay
Ooh, all
tuned.
right. We will. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you're looking for the #1 platform for all things commerce, there's no better choice. So definitely go check it out at salesforce.com/commerce.